Thank you and welcome. We are very honored to have one of Arkansas's most seasoned voices in Washington with us at KTLO today, U.S. Senator John Boozman. Senator Boozman has represented the natural state in Congress since 2001, first in the House and then in the Senate since 2011. He currently serves as chairman of the powerful Senate Agriculture Committee, a critical role for our state where farming and rural life are a way of life, and as senior member of the Senate Appropriations Committee, where he fights every year to bring Arkansas's tax dollars back home. From securing millions for maternal and rural health care to protecting veterans' benefits to championship water infrastructure for small communities across North Arkansas, Senator Boozman has made delivering for everyday Arkansans the cornerstone of his work. He's here today to talk about what's happening in Washington and, more importantly, what it means for us right here in the Twin Lakes area. Senator Boozman, welcome back to KTLO.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's so good to actually be in the studio rather than phoning it in from Washington. But it's good to be here.
You bet. Hey, you went to the fish hatchery today.
I did.
How was it?
And it was great. You know, I was thinking about Bob when I was out there. He was such a champion of those things, and you know, it wasn't too long ago that we fought the minimum flow battle. He fought it for decades and decades, and working with him, working with Barry and Barry Forestwood, you know, all of the people here that worked so hard to do what seemed to be an impossible task.
Yeah.
But he was right at the, and I know he would be right leading the charge with this. Fish hatchery is very important, and they've had some episodes where they've lost a lot of fish. It was so sad to see the runs where the fish are at and, you know, virtually empty. Mm-hmm. So they're working hard to get all of that fixed. What we want to do is make it such that we don't have episodes like that in the future. So we had the Corps of Engineers, we had Game and Fish, we had Arkansas Game and Fish, National Game and Fish, all the players, and really talked about some solutions. But we're working hard. We're kind of narrowing down the solutions. We're going to figure out what that costs and then get everybody together again and really seeing how we can make it happen. It's going to take it. These things don't, you know, it's not one person that fixes it. It's everybody working together. And I don't think there's a community or an area that does a better job than here. But for the state of Arkansas, you know, I'll be in Washington. I'm traveling all over the country with agriculture, as you said, and invariably somebody will stop me and say that they fished here or it's on their bucket list to fish here.
I was going to ask you, did you get to fish?
I didn't get to fish, and I'm sad about that, but I'll be back. And but for all kinds of reasons, economic and especially, and then again, just preserving this so that not only we've been able to enjoy it, but future generations.
A couple questions for you, sir. As chairman of the Senate Agriculture Committee, you've said we need to build stronger domestic markets for farm products. With tariffs and disruption to global shipping uncertainty for Arkansas farmers, what's your message to the producers who are worried right now?
Well, it's really difficult right now. If you're growing something in the ground, you're losing money. And that's really unusual. We have situations where sometimes one crop is up and another is down, but universally, whether you're into the specialty crops, growing fruits and vegetables, or you're a row cropper, you're losing money. The exception to that would be if you're in livestock. But right now, it's very, very difficult. The model that we have is breaking down. Our farmers are so efficient. You know, we're just in a situation where there's a glut of product. We don't have the markets that we used to. The United States was kind of the only market. Now we're in a situation where we've got tremendous competition from Brazil, and the Chinese have gone in. Brazil's always had fertile ground, but they hadn't had a way to get it from the field to the port. The port didn't really work. Now the Chinese have gone in and put the roads in, fixed the ports, and you know, they actually have 2 seasons over there. They're a fierce competitor, along with India and so many other places. So because of that, we have to start thinking outside the box. We've got to use products domestically besides selling them overseas. And so we've had a couple of hearings regarding that and really working with producers. So it's a challenge, but I think it's also an opportunity to get this straight.
Could you help us get a little rain here in Arkansas?
Well, it seems like it's always something, And so now we've got these low commodity prices, and then you throw in either not enough rain or too much rain. Last year it was too much rain.
Yeah, the lakes were too high. So.
Exactly. Now we've got the opposite.
Yep.
And, there's areas of Arkansas that aren't in just drought. They're in like the worst drought designation that you can have.
Yeah. Arkansas is home to almost 200,000 veterans, and your office receives more requests to help with disability claims than just about anything else. You've pushed to modernize the VA claims process. Where does that stand, and how much of the VA's current restructuring concerns you?
Well, I think the VA is actually doing a good job. I was talking to one of our head VA people on my staff yesterday about how it was going. And they were really, really hopeful in the sense that they felt like the time that it took to adjudicate the claims was coming down. A lot of that is the fact that with the different things that we've done, the PACT Act and this and that, which really were remarkable that we were able to get those passed and are really helpful to veterans. But what it's done is, because there's so many different things that you can claim, the old claim now has multiple claims within the claim. And so they're difficult. They're difficult to work through. And so because of that, the claims ballooned. They're telling me now that our veteran service organizations who do such a good job, our veteran service officers, the congressional offices are helping the individuals as they file their claims. So the people themselves are doing a much better job of submitting it. One of the problems we had was, you submit it, the VA get it and sit on it for a while, and then they finally look at it and, figure out that you left out stuff. And 60 days later, you get the claim back. It's kind of back and forth. But we've eliminated a lot of that stuff. And I know the director is really working very, very hard to solve these problems. I think he's going to be in Little Rock next week. We're excited about that.
We've seen the effects of the most recent government shutdown that's had on everyday Americans. How can our congressional leaders set aside some of these differences and figure a way to work better together?
Well, I think the whole thing was really idiotic in the sense that this is all about shutting down ICE and the Border Patrol. When we did the working class tax cuts bill and did all of that, including part of the Farm Bill, we also funded ICE because we knew we would have this problem for the next 2 or 3 years. So ICE is the only one that's getting paid. So you have a situation where they're trying to punish them and Border Patrol. And like I say, they're the only ones that are getting paid. So they're holding hostage the people that work at TSA that do such a good job, and Coast Guard, Secret Service. You can't shut down the Customs and Border Patrol. I mean, Customs, if you do that, then you're going to literally destroy our economy. So it's not right. So in visiting with Senator Thune recently, I think we've struck a deal, and hopefully this will come to a head in the next day. I
actually literally just saw a headline come across that the Republicans have a deal. So hopefully we can all cross our fingers.
No, exactly. So, but as far as getting ourselves in this situation, I mean, it's one thing if we're arguing up there, but again, to hold people hostage that, the TSA worker has nothing to do with this. The person that's standing in line for 5 hours trying to board a plane, the airlines, they have nothing to do with this.
TSA just went through this.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I can't remember the percentage of time this year that they've been working without pay. But it's really significant. Yeah. There's no excuse for it.
I got a couple local questions I want to ask you about. You had an opportunity to visit with absolutely. You had an opportunity to visit with CEO Ron Peterson of Baxter Health.
Yeah.
Baxter Health.
They do such a great job.
We are very proud of our hospital here.
Should be.
They report 83% of the patients are on government programs, and Arkansas hospitals receive the lowest Medicare reimbursements in the nation. The 340B drug pricing program, which we spoke about just earlier, helps rural hospitals like Baxter stretch their dollars, and it's also under threat. What specifically are you doing in Washington to protect the rural hospitals like Baxter Health?
Well, we're doing a lot, and the I'm very concerned about not only hospital reimbursement, but physician reimbursement, period. And so that goes back for decades and decades and decades when they did Medicare. And so Arkansas, and there's several other states that are about where we're at. You can't bring the others down to us. You have to push us up. And we've actually done a better job in doing that, but there's still a gap, okay? So we're working on that. We're working on the fact that we have work hard to train all of these people in medical school, and then we don't have enough residencies for them. You tend to live where you do your residency because you're older. You're starting to have children. You know, they're in kindergarten. You know, they're in school. So it's really important that we have the residencies we need. So we've teamed up with, some of our colleagues on the other side. The good thing is these aren't partisan issues. It's not about Democrats and Republicans. It's just trying to solve the problem. It costs money. So there's a number of things. The 340B program that we talked about with the administrator, again, we're very much on board with that, protecting that. So it's just hard. And like I say, I worry about our rural hospitals. I worry about our the ability to attract rural physicians. We've got some programs there that we're trying to put in place to help them choose to go into the more rural areas of America.
Almost 60% of Baxter County residents are age 65 or older, well above the national average. With Medicare reimbursement rates hurting local providers, just as you said, and Social Security always in the political conversation, what's your commitment to protecting seniors in communities like Mountain Home?
Well, not just in Mountain Home, but every place. And so Social Security is certainly very, very important. And there's no way that we're ever going to do anything that would affect people that are about to retire anytime soon at all. Or really just, I understand how important Social Security was for my mom and for my aunts. And, the list goes on for, people now that I see every day, as a senator, and then as I saw it when I was an eye doctor, practicing and taking care of people there. So that's something we're working hard to do. Inflation is a huge problem, and it works. It makes it such that your savings aren't worth as much. So again, trying to tackle that problem, and the list goes on and on. But no, we're committed to doing all we can, not only from a healthcare standpoint, but like you say, I think the working families tax cut will help. People now are figuring out their taxes, and we were able to in cases eliminate the Social Security tax, on our seniors that were being taxed with Social Security. That's a good thing. Absolutely. So those are things that really do make a difference.
A couple more, sir. Local leaders here have been pushing hard for improvements to Highway 412, calling it critical to economic development and connecting Mountain Home to the rest of the state. What's the status of federal support for this corridor?
Well, we're very supportive. It's just a matter of getting the dollars we need to continue working on it and continue to improve it. We need to do a better job of tying you to the rest of the state. It's difficult.
You can take 412 from here to probably your house, give or take, right?
Yeah. And let's give a little bit of credit. It's much better than it used to be.
Yes.
I grew up in Arkansas. My family settled in Fort Smith in 1873. So even in my lifetime, I've seen lots of change, but we like to continue working on it. I do think that from the governor on down, they understand that it really is important. This area of the state is beautiful and such an economic driver with tourism.
Absolutely.
And it's just a very special place.
You introduced the FLOWS Act of 2026 to help small water utilities adopt modern technology to detect leaks and improve reliability. Baxter County relies on numerous small water systems. How close is that bill to becoming law, and what would it mean for our community?
Well, it would help a lot. And the problem that we've got is our water systems are old. Many of the water systems in Arkansas are the original water systems. And so because of that, they're wearing out. And then they had a situation probably 20, 25 years ago that the pipe was not good pipe that was being distributed throughout the United States, and it's already wearing out. So there's lots of challenges with water. And we used to always think in terms of the 3 R's: roads, railroads, runways, and water. Now you have to throw in broadband. Or you're not going to have a community that's able to expand. So we're really working on all of those issues to make it such that communities like this, but water's right at the very top, and the leakage problem is huge. I'm always just when people tell me about that, an area where they've got 50% leakage or something, how can that happen? Right. But again, it just shows the difficulty in some of these pipes, and so it's a big deal. We're working hard not only on that, but several things along that line.
Good. You're here today, Mountain Home.
You've done your homework.
Yeah. I tried. Yeah. We don't get to see you very often, so I want to make sure we put on our best for you.
I hope that I get to see a lot more this year. Last year was really difficult just because of when you change administrations. The Senate is in the personnel business. You have to approve all these people, and there's like 1,800 of them, and so we've made it where
you've had to approve a few more since then too.
Right, and we made it where it's easier to do. But this year with the election, people, being home campaigning, then I'll be able to run around the state a lot and talk to our farmers, people, again, like, they're in difficult situations like the hatchery, talking to our hospitals, all kinds of people, and not only really getting good ideas as to, how we can improve and take that to Washington then and hopefully get some additional legislation passed.
My last question was going to be, what do you most want people in the area to know that you're doing for them in D.C.? And I think you just answered that before I could ask it.
Well, we do our best, and I love Arkansas, and I'm so proud to represent them, and we're trying hard to do that. And so it's all about everybody working together. One of the things I'm most pleased with is the maternal health issue. A few years ago, several of us were looking and saying, no, we don't need to be number one in mortality and maternal health. We've got problems in the Middle East and stuff. Those are hard to solve, almost impossible to solve. Maternal health being at the top is one that we could, dig our teeth into. So the governor got involved, lots of just corporations and people, just everybody working together, and we've really changed those numbers. So we want to pick out some more things like that. And when you have, the entire state working together, it just shows what you can do. So we can do these things, and we're going to continue to move in that direction.
We are most grateful for your time and appreciate you coming by.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Senator Boozman.